all about the different brands of duct tape. This is Kim from Duct Tape Creations, and I'm going to be explaining to you the different brands of duct tape and which one stands up to the quality test. So, the different brands I have, and which are almost all of them I believe, include the IPG Glow brand, the Rue 21 Clothing Store brand, the Platypus brand, brands that are no name, found at different retailers around, Scotch, and of course Duct brand. Now all these brands do have different patterns. These are just one of each of theirs, and all the patterns work the same as the patterns I'm going to be showing you, but I'm going to start with the IPG brand. This is it in a basic petal. All the tapes do form into a basic petal. This is the IPG, forms quite well in the basic petal. I'm going to wrap it around a pen just to see and show you how it stands up on the first fold. The first one's always the hardest because it's the tightest to put together. This one wraps pretty well. And I have made pens with this. I haven't made pens just with this completely, but it does stay together in regular pens, so I'd say this is a pretty good brand. I rated it as a 3, but this is because their glowing quality isn't very good. If I were to shut the lights off right now, you wouldn't see it glowing very well, but it would glow if it sat in front of the light for about 5 minutes. Not very bright, but you could see the glowing. So that is the IPG brand. Next we have the Rue 21 brand. Now, I just found this tape probably 4 months ago or so. It has pretty cool prints. A lot of them rainbow. There's rainbow cheetah, rainbow zebra, regular blue zebra. There's another mustache brand, and a couple other ones. There's not a big selection of colors in it, but it's pretty cool for the colors they have. This one, however, doesn't really work well for projects that include bendiness, because as you will probably see, it turned out very hard to fold, and it doesn't really stick too well if you just touch it. So, but it does work for things such as clutches, purses, but I always have to use another brand with it, like Duct brand. And it's rather thick. If you were to bend it, it's pretty thick. It doesn't bend too easily. That's what makes it not work well in flowers. I once made a flower and the flower exploded afterwards. And it really stayed together. By exploded, I mean all the petals came off like that. You can barely roll this one. See, that's as far as I got on rolling it. So I rated this one as a 2 with 2 stars. That is because they are very cool prints. They only work for select crafts though, but the prints make them go up from a 1 star to a 2 star. That's why they're 2 stars. Next is Platypus. Now Platypus is very similar to the Rue tape, but has a wider selection of tapes. I don't like them too much, the tapes. More just select for holidays. There's like a snowflake, a Christmas stocking, and candy cane, which are all just for Christmas, so it's not a very wide range. But they do have this cool skull one. But the first time I made a pen out of this, it exploded also, and when I do make other stuff, it doesn't stay together. I made a wallet once, I had to reinforce it with Duct brand, and I'll explain why later, why I've been using Duct brand for all my crafts. But the print is pretty cool, but it doesn't work too well for the pens. But that's Platypus. It is a 1 star rating, sadly. They do have very cool prints. I just wish the quality was better in it. Next is a no-name brand. And these brands, there's some I think sold at pharmacies. Walmart has a couple no-name brands. Target might have some. Right now they're all out for Halloween. All the no-name brands, you usually don't see them year-round. Now, this tape is very unusual from the rest. It's a pretty good thickness. It's not too thick, but not too thin. And it sticks very well. See, it stays together in this. I'll close it up for you. And so yeah, it's very good stickiness, but it's very smooth and slippery, the colored side of it, so other tapes, even itself, doesn't stick to it very well, and I'll show you later the sound difference and how easy it rips in my ripping examples. So that one was rated as a 2. Even though it sticks very well, it doesn't allow other stuff stuck on top of it, so a flower doesn't usually stay too good together because of the stickiness. It slips off. The next brand is Scotch. Scotch is starting to get a whole bunch of new patterns. It is probably the competitor of Duct brand right now, if I had to choose, because they've released about the same amount of new patterns as Duct brand, a little less, but one of the new patterns is this monster tape. But this one, Scotch, is a thin tape. It's very flimsy. It does stay together in pens, but you have to use more petals to make it the same width as a Duct brand flower pen would have. But it is very cool. They have a lot of cool fonts. The monster tape's a pretty cool one for boys. There's a game tape which has a whole bunch of stuff on it. There's a new fancy black and white tape that's out with it, and a few other cool tapes. This one's rated as a 4 with 4 stars because of their cool variety of tapes, and they do stay together. They work for almost anything. Sometimes when you bend them, the tape comes unstuck is the word. But it's a very good overall tape. It's not like perfect. It needs some improvement, but it's much better than the previous ones we've seen. So that is why it's rated as a 4. The final tape I'm going to explain to you is the one and only Duct brand. Duct brand has been out making prints since about 1997. They've come very far within the couple of years releasing prints. I make almost 99% of my pens from Duct brand tape, so they work very good in my style of spiky flower pens, which you can learn how to make in my book. But they have over, probably, if I had to guess, 100 different colors and patterns. You can see some of it in the background here. Those are some of them. Their oldest print is the camouflage, but now they have newest prints, which is a holiday circle tape, which I just bought today and is posted on my Facebook page if you'd like to see, and I'll be doing a video on that new tape soon. But Duct brand works for any craft. I haven't found a craft you can't do it with. I even fix everything with it. I fixed my flip-flop when my friend stepped on it and it broke. I had some in my bag, so I duct taped it up. I've done, let's see, wallets, earrings, which are so tiny. They're less than an inch by inch in width. So they work very good for small and big crafts. If you went to the Duct Tape Festival, you could have seen some of the huge crafts done by it. And then the small, petite, little time-taking crafts work too. But Duct brand, I gave a 5-star rating because of their wide variety of tapes, their standard in tape, how well it works with other crafts. It's definitely the best crafting tape. And with Duct brand, I use it for everything, and for other tapes like the Rue 21 we mentioned and the Platypus, I back them up with Duct brand because Duct brand can withhold and keep them in form too. So they're pretty good. Now we are going to go to the ripping test, which will show you the sound of how a tape rips in the different brands. And the sounds are pretty different from each one. Some have a very distinct sound, some don't. This is the IPG brand. When you rip it, it's going to do this. It's not a very loud sound like most of them. It does stay stuck to itself pretty well, which is something you want to know about. That was the IPG. Now the Rue 21. This one is one of the thicker tapes with Platypus. It does have a very different sound, so ready? You can tell the thickness in it by the sound. It doesn't really make a loud sound like some other tapes do, but it is louder than the IPG brand. The Platypus brand is sticky, but that was very similar to the Roo because the Roo and Platypus are very, very similar materials or types of tape. Now this is a no-name tape. You know I mentioned it. It didn't stick too well to itself, and you will hear how, right? See how it doesn't really make a sound? That's because it doesn't stick to itself. As you can see, it is pretty sticky, but the front of it is like a sticky repellent, if you shall say. Because if I were to stick the Duct brand to it, it like slides off. See, I'm pushing on it and it still comes off. But that was a no-name brand. Now the Scotch. This is the flimsier of the tapes. It does have a good sound to it. This roll is like very sticky compared to most of them, but here's the sound. That one has a more stickiness sound. They do have a good stick to them, the Scotch ones. It's just the flimsiness you have to worry about sometimes. Now, of course, Duct brand. This Duct brand, you can tell any sound. Some rolls sound different than each other. Depends on how sticky that particular roll is, but this is the sound of Duct brand. As you can see, it's a pretty decent duct tape peeling sound. Now, since I have more Duct brand in front of me, I'll just rip one more to see if it has a different sound for everyone to hear. This is a multicolored polka dots. It's found at Walmart, I believe, so here it goes. Duct brand has its own unique sound, I feel, and that shows up for how unique it is, I feel, and the only one rating at 5 stars. But those are the 6 different brands of duct tape I have. I try and collect all of them, even if when I see like the no-name brands, there's a few different no-name brands out there that feel a little different. Most of them are like the ones I showed. All these tapes do have different patterns, so be sure to try and look them up if you have any questions about where you can get them. The Roo 21, I will tell you, can only be found at the Roo 21 clothing store, which makes somewhat sense. I'm not sure if you can buy it on their online clothing store, but they have cool prints. The IPG is all the glow tapes, except for the Duct brand tape, which while I'm here and it's in front of me, I'll explain to you too. The glow Duct tape is very unique compared to all of them either. And the one reason is because it's actually a cloth tape. It's not like a smooth, it's sort of cloth-like. If you do gymnastics, it's like the gymnastics tape you use around your wrist. But this one, it glows extremely, extremely well. I'll show you the sound. That's the sound, but it does glow really well in the middle of the night. If I get up, you can see it glowing. It glows very, very well, but it is a cloth tape. It's a very new and fun thing Duct brands come out with. I'm hoping to see more inventions of the cloth tape they have, but it's very cool and different, though it's not really water protecting very much. So if I had to guess, I'd sadly give this a 4-star rating on the quality. The glowing's extremely well. I give that a 10 out of 5 stars. But those are the types of duct tapes. I believe I covered it all. If you have any more questions, be sure to comment and message me, whatever you need to do. I would love to help. So thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.